Welcome back to One Comic Book a Day, where it's been a while, as after I got mono, I thought it'd be fun to get COVID, and I'm expecting the bubonic plague by my birthday, so anything can happen between then and there. God, I'm tired of being sick. I am so tired of being sick. Anyways, it's time to get back to this, and I actually already recorded this video earlier, but my microphone died on me because it hadn't been charged in like the 2 months I haven't really actually recorded anything. So it died like 50 seconds into that recording. So let's do this over again. I'm sure I'll be excited to talk about a story I wasn't overly excited to talk about in the first place the first time through. So this is Superman 79, and the first story, The Citadel of Doom. Pretty solid title for what ends up turning out to be Luthor as Wilbur Wolfingham. Though his plan's a little more elaborate and detailed compared to anything Wolfingham did. I guess the most detailed Wolfingham plan involved him knocking out those people thinking they would wake up in the future, only for Superman to knock him out and then create a whole post-apocalyptic Metropolis around them, but it was only really involved because Superman decided to get involved. Here, Luthor is pulling off a scam. Here's the thing about scam stories in Superman. It is fun in theory for Superman to stop a massive scam, but I think you have to go really big with it, or you got to do something like Candytown, USA. Candytown, USA is a story I kind of like that really is sold on the fact that the joke is the prankster's plan was ruined because he actually listened to Wilbur Wolfingham, and you would have to have understood who Wilbur Wolfingham was to get the joke at the end. And it almost made what was, a mediocre story like a lot of these, actually fun and kind of worth reading, and that's why I like that story. Here, Luthor, who is generally a bigger character who does bigger things, isn't really doing bigger things. He's actually very small scale. Whenever Luthor goes very small scale, he loses me. I like my Luthor shooting earthquake guns at Superman, not trying to trick rich people out of their money. I actually kind of don't care about the rich people losing their money. I think that's part of the problem. Yeah, it's definitely part of the problem. So Luthor has secretly built this Citadel. Well, not secretly. It's more like no one knows who's responsible for the Citadel. And by Citadel, it's like a bunker on top of a hill. It's really easy to notice. But that's sort of a mystery for a while. But Superman gets distracted because of volcanoes erupting and there's earthquakes. Luthor's already had an earthquake gun. But these are used to be as like portents and harbingers, as Luthor calls a bunch of rich people over to the bunker, as it is his bunker, and warns them that a dark star is going by, and the dark star is going to cause a cataclysmic event across the world, destroying everything. And then he shows them through a window, Superman failing to stop a bunch of perfectly circular meteors, which either look like giant cheese puffs, giant balls for a ball pit because Superman gets basically buried under them, or him being buried in one of those rubber ball cages that they have at like smaller stores. You know what I'm talking about. They're just full of balls about that big. They bounce. What is to say is this horrific death of Superman looks rather fun, and I'm into it. Let's all die this way. This, of course, turns out not to actually be Superman dying, and as Luthor threatens to throw these rich people out into the destruction unless they sign over like half of their assets to him. I think it's half. Superman happens to stop by to see what's happening, and, well, it turns out that Luthor just made a massive recording. It's actually more than a recording to trick these people into thinking Superman had died, which then leads to a general problem a lot of these villains have is, what is their plan after Superman finds out what's happening? Because honestly, these contracts are not going to hold any water after the judge finds out what he's going to do. But it's also not going to hold any water once Superman has his hands on you. What are you going to do, Luthor? He doesn't answer to the cops. He could essentially just make you live tied to him as he flies around the city. Of course, he's not going to do that, but he can make your life harder. And the way Superman decides to make his life harder currently, as no one's signing these contracts, is to actually bring down one of those round meteors and threaten to destroy the Citadel. I actually think he destroys the bunker and then threatens to drop it on Luthor as he's trying to flee. And then the story has a good old-fashioned sexism at the end where Lois first seems absolutely relieved at the idea that Superman's alive and then complains that how dare he make her think he's dead, even though that wasn't his doing, and then him just complaining about he doesn't understand women. I miss it when we had the endings where it was Lois or Clark getting the scoop over the other person and throwing them in the face. It got old, but it was so much better than the oh, women endings we've kind of gotten to the 50s. But as I said at the beginning, Luthor isn't particularly very interesting unless he's actually trying to do something big. And the story is very small in its focus, and it's not small in its focus in the way I like a Superman story to be, which is Superman helping people. He's barely helping these people, and I also don't care about these people because they can take care of themselves. Honestly, they shouldn't have listened to the known criminal Luthor and gone to his bunker. Okay, that is it from Superman 79, The Citadel of Doom. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Hit the bell icon to get notifications when a new video goes up. I do this Monday through Friday, but Fridays is Bat Friday, where I cover a Batman story in either Detective Comics or Batman. And until next time, let's ponder the question, whatever did happen to the Man of Tomorrow. And if Luthor's whole plan was to get money from rich people because he doesn't have a lot of money, where do you get the money to build this massive citadel and do everything else he did? Once again, his crime feels like it has massive overhead. Okay, have a great day.